Italian ex-Catholic. In 1854, published the finest Italian history of the Jesuits in existence. Take the Jesuit for what he ought or appears to be, and you commit the greatest of blunders. Draw the character after what the Jesuit seems to be in London, you will not recognize your portrait in the Jesuit of Rome. The Jesuit is the man of circumstances. Despotic in Spain, constitutional in England, republican in Paraguay, bigot in Rome, idolater in India. He shall assume and act out in his own person, with admirable flexibility, all those different features by which men are usually to be distinguished from each other. He will accompany the gay women of the world to the theater and will share in the excesses of the debauchee. With solemn countenance, he will take his place by the side of the religious man at church, and he will revel in the tavern with the glutton and the sot. He dresses in all garbs, speaks all languages, knows all customs, is present everywhere, though nowhere recognized, and all this, it should seem, O monstrous blasphemy, for the greater glory of God.
The escape of wanted Nazis from justice in 1945 is much speculated about. Many did evade capture, some, like Adolf Eichmann or Josef Mengele, escaping down rat lines to South America in the years immediately after the war. But a few made dramatic escapes in the chaotic last days of the war, and one of the most dramatic was that of Léon de Grelle, the commander of the Belgian SS on the Eastern Front and a fascist politician. Born in Belgium in 1906, Léon de Grelle was the leader of the right-wing Rexist political party in Belgium when his country was invaded by the Germans in May 1940. After a brief period of imprisonment, de Grelle sided with Hitler. He joined the Walloon Legion, a Belgian unit in the German army, as a private and fought on the Eastern Front. Awarded the Iron Cross Second Class in March 1942, he became an officer, later winning the Iron Cross First Class in combat. The Walloon Legion was transferred to the Waffen-SS in June 1943 and renamed Sturmbrigade Wallonien. In early 1944, de Grelle took command of the brigade during fighting in the Korsun-Cherkasy pocket. When the brigade escaped, only 632 of its 2,000 members survived. De Grelle received the Knight's Cross and promotion to SS Sturmbannführer, or Major. In June 1944, a reconstituted Belgian SS unit of 440 men went to Estonia to assist in its defense against the advancing Red Army. The brigade's remnants pulled back to Breslau as the front collapsed. De Grelle received the Oak Leaves to his Knight's Cross and promotion to Lieutenant Colonel in early 1945. After being wounded a total of 7 times on active operations, de Grelle tended to stay out of the front lines in early 1945, visiting his men sporadically while professional military officers directed the units in combat. De Grelle was, by April 1945, seriously concerned for his future. If he was captured by the Soviets, he could expect no mercy, but conversely, if he was captured by the Western Allies, he could expect to be handed over to the Belgians, put on trial for treason, and most probably executed. At Oslo Airport on the 7th of May 1945, as the German surrender began, de Grel's party boarded a Heinkel HE-111 H-23 aircraft, a transport version of the famous bomber. Rejecting Sweden, de Grel had instead decided to flee to Spain, then ruled by a sympathetic fascist regime under General Francisco Franco, and seek sanctuary. But it would be a dangerous flight to make through airspace completely controlled by Allied air forces, and in a relatively slow and lightly armed plane. It would involve crossing a large proportion of Western Europe to reach northern Spain, a distance of at least 2,200 kilometers. The maximum range of a fully loaded Heinkel HE-111 H-23 was about 2,300 kilometers, leaving little room to spare for any deviations or problems. Accompanying de Grel was his aide, SS Hauptsturmführer Duveltz, and a 4-man Luftwaffe crew. De Grel's wife and children were not with him. They had disappeared into the chaos of Germany. The flight was made at low altitude all the way, the pilot and crew nervously scanning the skies for Allied fighters and fearful of flak batteries. Fuel was also a problem. They had just enough to reach northern Spain. The pilot chose the small seaside town of San Sebastian on the Bay of Biscay, just over the Pyrenees from France. By the time the Heinkel 111 approached the town, the aircraft was flying on its reserve fuel tank. The aircraft flew over the town, then came around and lined up on the shallow water just off the beach. Feathering the propellers, the pilot crash-landed the Heinkel in the surf. The rough landing tearing the plane apart, ripping off a wing and smashing the nose in. De Grel broke his arm and suffered other injuries, while several others in the plane were also badly hurt. Spanish police and civilians rescued them and took them to hospital. General Franco resisted calls from Belgium to extradite de Grel. In 1954, de Grel was given Spanish citizenship and made the director of a construction firm that ironically built US military airfields in Spain. De Grel's wife and children also managed to join him in Spain. He led a high-profile existence, even wearing SS uniform and his wartime decorations at certain functions and events. He was involved with neo-Nazi circles, even after Franco's death, publishing pro-Nazi pamphlets and polemics.
swim to the moon. Let's climb through the tide. Penetrate the evening that the city sleeps too high.
Bobby.
Apollo 11, this is the launch operations manager. The launch team wishes you good luck and Godspeed. Thank you very much. No, it'll be a good one.
The moon at liftoff will be at a distance of 218,096. 30 seconds and counting. Astronauts report it feels good. T-minus 25 seconds. 20 seconds and counting. T-minus 15 seconds. Guidance is internal. 12, 11, 10, 9. Ignition sequence starts. 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0. All engine running. We have a liftoff, 32 minutes past the hour. Liftoff on Apollo 11. Tower clear.
We got a roll program. Plus 30 seconds. Clear. Roger. And we're getting a picture on the TV. Okay, Neil, we can see you coming down the ladder now.
We could see it as it was happening. We could watch on live television.
It's one small step for man, one die unleashed for mankind.
And the fact that 600 million people around the world were either watching or listening on radio and TV as it happened is a measure of the impact that this thing had on the world's consciousness.
The surface, as we said, was fine-grained with lots of rocks in it. It took footprints very well, and the footprints stayed in place. The limb was in good shape and exhibited no damage from the landing or the descent. It's a picture of the ladder with the well-known plaque.
This is Uncle Ted in front of the house. This is Uncle Ted at the back of the house. And this is Uncle Ted at the side of the house. This is Uncle Ted back again at the front of the house, but you can see the side of the house. And this is Uncle Ted even nearer the side of the house.
And every place we went, I thought they'd, in some places, have the attitude of, oh, well, you Americans finally did this. Not at all. The attitude, every country, regardless of their internal politics, they all said, we did it, we humans.
Everything before July 20th, 1969, humans only had experience on one planetary body. From that moment on, we were, at least in some measure, a multiplanetary species.
When Neil and Buzz walked on the moon, they did it, of course, without weapons. The only thing they brought was cameras. So.
I didn't expect the Spanish Inquisition.
Nobody expects the Spanish Inquisition.
Let's swim to the moon. Let's climb through the tide. Penetrate the evening that the city sleeps too high. Penetrate the evening that the city sleeps too high. Penetrate the evening that the city sleeps too high.
I'm the urban spaceman, baby, I've got speed. I've got everything I need. I'm the urban spaceman, baby, I can fly. I'm a supersonic guy. I don't need pleasure, I don't feel pain. If you were to knock me down, I'd just get up again. I'm the urban spaceman, baby, I'm making out. I'm all about. I wake up every morning with a smile upon my face. My natural exuberance spills out all over the place. I'm the urban spaceman, I'm intelligent and clean. Know what I mean? I'm the urban spaceman, as the lover second to none. It's a lot of fun. I never let my friends down, I've never made a boo. I'm a glossy magazine, an advert in the tube. I'm the urban spaceman, babe, but here comes the twist. I don't exist. I'm the urban spaceman, babe, but here comes the twist. I don't exist, 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 don't exist.
It was at this moment that he knew. He fucked up.
So I strongly suggest that you wake the fuck